Greetings, everyone. Just got up, ran in the shower, and just have like 13 minutes before I gotta start working. But I thought I'd do this video quickly for anybody who perhaps need to understand this whole thing about self-esteem and self-worth. And I want to say to you that almost everyone at one point in their life or not get their self-esteem um, bruised or find out that they need to do work on their self-worth. I am no different. And over the years, I've struggled through it. I've never really been a person who's really very obsessed with my face card. Um, if you say I'm beautiful, I say thank you. But it wasn't something that I dwell on. If a guy told me that I was beautiful and that was his starting line to pick me up, it didn't work. It never works. If someone compliments me that I am beautiful because I look good or because within me, I share that beauty, I accept it fully and completely. But I have struggled with it. And here is why. A lot of times when you're in a relationship, the person that you give yourself to, that you're most vulnerable with, really has the power to really destroy your self-esteem. And so that's why we cannot give that power to anybody to raise our self-worth or value. We have to see it or find it within ourselves. A lot of these relationship problems that you're seeing start out with individuals who have lost fathers, especially women lose fathers when they're young, or if their fathers are still alive, they never really had any good relationship with these men. And so they're always seeking for a father figure. For me, I had a father figure when I was young. In fact, I was very close to my father. I had a very loving relationship with my father until he betrayed me. And in his last days, we rekindled that relationship. So the self-esteem for me does come from that, with me seeking the love of somebody who didn't even know how to love himself. And I have seen so many beautiful women, so many beautiful ladies, and they don't know their self-worth. And here's why I know. They go from relationship to relationship with men who clearly do not value them. And because of their low self-esteem, they feel they cannot do better. A lot of women stay in a relationship because they feel they cannot do better. They'll say, for example, I have all these children, who's going to want me? But I guarantee you, the moment a woman starts saying that, a man is already saying those things to her. And it may not be as blatant to her in saying that, but the way he tells her other things. When you see a woman always having to try to do things to her body to try to please a man, if your man cannot accept you when you're big and fat, he should not be with you when you're skinny. If your man can't stand you because you don't have a bumper and you go to the gym and you do all that weightlifting and everything to raise that bumper, then when you're done, you should leave him. That's what I'm saying, plain and simple. Now, I am the way I am, and I feel and think the way I do because I am the age that I am. And so when I was younger, I too used to feel like I got to stay with this one person. Number one, I used to think that if you get more than one man in an intimate way, you're loose. So a lot of it is prejudice too, because being in the church, it's like you're supposed to be this way. But the majority of the people that were in the church were not that way. But I held myself to a high standard. No one told me, wait until marriage to do this. It wasn't the church. It was something that I had in my mind from I was young. That's what I wanted for my life. And then years later, when I spent many, many, many years single, I decided that that doesn't mean anything. Someone could go out, pick up somebody on a date, and go home with them and never leave. So again, we can't let other persons determine what is really right for us. My moral compass should only work for me. I can share my beliefs, but you don't have to accept it. Someone asked me yesterday in the video that I posted, how do I think the lady feel about, what people are saying about her on social media? And I said, she has a thick skin, which is the truth, and that she doesn't give zero about what anybody thinks. And it sounds funny, but really that is how you ought to be. You're going to live your life, you're going to do whatever you want to do, and no one gets to determine your moves. Having said that, we surround ourselves with people of value who see the value in you so that you can not just increase or improve on your self-worth and your self-esteem, but going forward, you can understand that you have been there too. And so you remove the judgment in that way. So I know a lot of women who have no self-esteem and they continue to be that way. And the moment you realize your worth, no one can take this advantage of you. No pain and suffering is going to stop you from doing what is right for you. So, as a married woman, I have had to navigate my way through marriage because no marriage is perfect. And when you're living with another human being, of course you're going to have disagreements and you're going to have conflicts. But I have boundaries. I say, okay, if you pass this threshold, then it's over because I'm not afraid to be alone. And my partner knows that nobody's holding him with any string. Nobody, because I see my self-esteem and my self-worth is super high. And I always say, if I get to 100, I will still get married if I want to. And I'm not going to marry worse off because every time I get married, my marriage improves. I personally would never get married again because the next chapter of my life is going to be spent doing some things, going into nature, pursuing spiritual things, enjoying peace and tranquility. I have no interest in being in a relationship with any man. That is part of the problem with a lot of women. You don't know how to be alone. You got to be with a man. And that is not a problem to say, I want a family, but you want a man at all cost. And when you're like that, you have no boundaries, no limit in the things that you will accept or do to others. So when you see people bragging about their side pieces and, they're all this and that, they don't realize that your self-esteem is terrible. Because if it was good, you would not want to share your man. Or if you're a woman, if you're a man, you would want to share your woman with anyone else. And if you are a lady, there's something, especially in this time. Now we know that there's polygamy, and we know there's always different types of relationships. And I'm certainly not telling people what is right for them. But if you have a bad self-esteem, you're going to say to yourself, all men cheat. And though all men can cheat, they don't have to. And if you say, I don't want one that does, then you don't have to stay with that. Do you understand? But in every relationship, there weaknesses, and you have to work on it. Because listen, the honeymoon or what would you call it? That happy feeling, that feel good moment when you know someone, when that chemistry, it's spiritual. That's what make you feel so good when you're drawn to the person. Because listen, destiny determines or dictates that this relationship must happen because children are going to come from it. But at the same time, sometimes once that's fulfilled, that relationship is over, and you're then trying to hold on to something that's not meant to go past that season. And so any relationship, and I'm going to say this without tongue in cheek, any relationship you see going through these trauma and these, moments of disrespect are broken relationships that are not meant to go forward, but people are holding on with dear life to something that is already over. And so some people are joking about it, that this woman, he's held by some portion, some love portion, and therefore is a reason why she cannot break free. But we don't know people's personal life, and we don't know who tie who and whatever. But what I'm saying, these things are real. And so you'll see individuals wanting to leave, but cannot leave. Listen, the spiritual content is coming. So stay tuned and stay blessed.